Welcome to Go Get This podcast we haven't decided we're doing anyway. I am Colby.
And I'm the #1 patriot in America. You can call me Fee.
Oh, really? What makes you so patriotic, Fee?
Oh yeah. Instead when I was born, instead of a placenta coming out, an American flag came out.
Wow. Damn. That sounds really painful.
My doctor was Uncle Sam.
Ooh, okay. Just somebody wholly unqualified to deliver you.
And they swaddled me with the hamburger.
Now that does make sense. That would track. If you told me that outside of this context, I would believe you.
Yeah. What do you think? I weighed 9 pounds when I was a baby.
Yeah, I weighed 8, I think. So yeah, I'm big kids.
Big kids, well, like big, like heavy, not tall. I'm short.
Yeah, true.
Guy.
just born a little basketball, a little dense basketball.
I would say a bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a bundle of joy that my mom hated. Not like hated, like she didn't hate me, but like hated having me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, speaking of babies, my sister's having hers tomorrow as of the day recording of this pod.
Whoa. Tomorrow?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know, right? Fucking new ass babe in the house. He's gonna be a boy. And his nickname, my nickname for him is Easy, because I think his name is Isaiah.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a cool name.
Easy Money, baby. And that's
Money.
That's his street name.
That's right. Easy Money.
Oh, dude. Okay, so check this. Like 4th of July just passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of the recording of this podcast, and you know what? I've been feeling good. I just got on antidepressants, so I've been kind of getting up and out more.
Oh yeah.
More about that later. But what's it called? I was like, my sister's dude. He's like, hey, let's go pop some fireworks. I was like, yeah, I'll spend $10. I'll buy some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. We went over in town. We got some. Actually, we went to Alamo Fireworks first, which is like a chain firework place.
Mm-hmm.
They are fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are.
They're just they're for like people who never popped fireworks before and don't know the value of a firework.
Mm-hmm.
And they are expensive. They had big shit. They had cool shit, but fuck, I wasn't gonna pay like $200 for a one thing that goes. One of those thingies.
You know, that goes.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called, but one of those. So we went to good old Taft fire stands where they're more reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Bought some fireworks. They took the tax off. They just charged me the even number because they know me. So
because I'm special. I'm a special boy.
I'm so good. They know me. So yeah. We get home. Edgar's like, hey, let's pop the fireworks. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The sun's out. I'm like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
So then he's
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. So then we wait till night comes. Mm-hmm. Night comes, and I was like, all right, let's go pop some fireworks. It's gonna be great. It's like, I don't know, 10 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's popping fireworks all over town.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got some stuff that I want. Like I got the chicken that you light up and goes.
Oh God, yeah.
I got like a cone, and I got a fountain, mm-hmm. and just little things, stuff like that. And I was
mm-hmm.
like, cool. So we start like lighting them in the street, which I guess they're cool. The cops are cool with now because we never been able to. So we're lighting them. Our neighbor comes out to walk his dog, and as we had just lit one, and I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Hey, get away from there.
Speaking of dogs.
Yeah. So my neighbor's walking his dog, and he, like, the firework goes on, and the dog's, like, frightened because dogs are scared of fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, hold on. I was like, hey, we'll wait for you to finish walking until we start popping again. He was like, yeah, thanks. And, we wait, and he comes back,
mm-hmm.
and then we continue popping. And, hey, get down from there.
My God, Fee.
Sorry, he's when I'm chilling on the bed, he's cool. When like I'm sitting down, he's like kind of aimless. He's walking around. He can't go out right now because the other dogs are eating,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of a big lard, so he likes to eat their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in here for right now.
He's being tortured.
He's cool. He's just kind of wandering around, just kind of sniffing stuff. But he's getting too close to my router,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. He's like teething, so I don't want him to be biting stuff.
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
But anyway, so he gets back from walking the dog. We start popping fireworks again. Edgar bought a big the Saturn missiles 300 count.
Damn.
And he was like, you know what? Let's just do it right now. I was like, fuck yeah. So, we light it. We put it in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, here come the cops. And we're like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
And
damn it.
my sister's like, it was neighbor. They called on us. And the cop comes real cool. Like, chubby dude. I haven't seen him before. And he's like, hey, guys, having fun? Popping fireworks? They're like, yep. And he put, as the Saturn missiles are still going off, we're like, we just set off the big one.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Well, we got a noise complaint. And immediately, I was like, that motherfucker. and my sister's like, oh, yeah? A noise complaint? From who? And, like, I shit you not, he looks at us. Oh, it was anonymous. But, like, he turns his head and looks at their house.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, hey, well, we're already finished pretty much. That was the big one. We just have bottle rockets. Is that cool? And they're like, yeah, no problem. Go ahead. And we chat for a while, and then he's just like, have a good night. And then we lit our bottle rockets, and then he, like I said, he was just fucking God. It was so annoying. Like, we weren't even being noisy. And, like, the neighbors next to us, because it was the neighbor across the street that called on us.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbor next to us, they were popping fireworks like the night before and like the day before. They've been doing it all like the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it once while he walked his dog, and that was enough to piss him off.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I am in the camp of like, I would rather go to a show, like a fireworks show, than do fireworks now, because they're all like meh. And like I didn't think that we would have a lot of fireworks here. So like we live in Seattle, and our friends live kind of more out in like between a couple of cities, and they were like, hey, are you like getting a bunch of fireworks? And like we live in a pretty urban area. And we were like, yeah, there are a couple places around us, and they were like, it's been constant for 4 hours. We were like, what? And they were like, yeah, there was a 4-second gap in which, like, in between fireworks, I guess they were getting more or something, but otherwise it's been like at like one every 2 seconds or so. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they were like, yeah, 4 hours of this. I was like, whoa. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, that's kind of bad. But, like,
it made me think of being back in Taft and being like, oh yeah, if you want to pop fireworks, you got to go somewhere where there's like not a lot of people, because cops will get called, and also it gets dry there sometimes, so you don't want to like start a brush fire.
Well, that's the good thing. Like, it had just been raining,
mm-hmm.
So we didn't have like any what's it called chance of that happening. So like, I guess that's why everyone was like more
mm-hmm.
like lenient this year, because
mm-hmm.
like I said, the past couple of years the cops haven't really been on people for popping fireworks, especially like I live in the city limits barely. Mm-hmm. And usually when I was popping fireworks a couple of years back, the cops would just come and be like, hey, break it up. And I'd be like, oh, fuck. But like the street that's like at the end of the road, like a little bit further, like a block down, half a block, next to our big empty lot,
mm-hmm.
that's free to pop fireworks. But we didn't have to go over there.
Yeah, I like, and whenever you're in a small town, it's not constant. And usually like people are usually done by midnight. Apparently at their house, people were still going until like 2 a.m. or so. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I if I'm thinking back on it, the thing that made me actually quit doing fireworks, in addition to like my friends having dogs that are like really, really upset by like fireworks, and like this just means that they have to sit in the closet with them for 4 hours.
Yeah.
The last firework thing that I did was big enough that I was like, all right, I think I did it. I think I don't need to do fireworks anymore. And that was, I was over at my friend Justin's house, and someone, I don't remember who, came by and was like, oh yeah, well, we got like a bunch of sparklers and stuff, and like we were planning on going to go buy fireworks for that night, and we were like, well, I mean, okay, you got sparklers, like what else should we get? And they were like, well, have you ever made a sparkler bomb? And we were like, no.
What?
And they were like, yeah, let me show you how to make a sparkler bomb. So he gets, I think it was like 8 packages of sparklers, empties them all out, and wraps electrical tape around them. Like he leaves one sticking out, wraps electrical tape all over the sides on the like top and bottom so that it's like, you know, relatively airtight. And leaves it in the field and lights it. And like we're just kind of standing there and he's like, oh no, back up like a lot. We were like, okay. And so we get back, you know, 10 or 15 feet because this guy's like pretty convincing, and it explodes, and like you could feel it in your chest. Like the explosion was so like massive that we couldn't find any remnants of it. We were like, where's the tape? Where are the sparklers? And he's like, they're gone, dude. Like this produces a huge explosion. And so we were like, I don't know why, but he come over to tell us about this at like 4 p.m. And we were planning on doing like, you know, at nighttime. So we were like, all right. So now I know what we're doing. And so we go up to like a firework place, and we're just like, yeah, give me like, I don't know, 50 boxes of sparklers. And they were like, really? Just that? We were like, yep, just that. And we set off like, we made a couple of them, and we also had to get some electrical tape. We made a couple of them, and like, it never got old. They just like, we were like, oh man, it's big. And what if we did 16?
What if we just did 20?
What if we just did 20?
If you don't know, sparklers are usually like 50 cents a box, and they're like 8 in a box.
Yeah.
They're about the size of the mechons that come with the, you know, when you buy fireworks.
Yeah, they're like 3-5 inches or so.
I don't know. What do you call them? What do you call them?
Oh, punks.
I call them mechons.
Mechons are punks.
The hell's a punk?
That's what it's called. The thing that you used to light other things with.
Oh yeah. That's a mechon.
Yeah, it's called a punk.
I've never called it that. I've only known the Spanish way of calling it.
Yeah, the Spanish way sounds much better. Punk sounds cooler. Stupid.
Yeah. Now that you say it out loud.
It sounds like somebody trying to be cool.
I think mechon's just Spanish for like match. So something like that, but it makes it, I don't know, it sounds better. Anyway, yeah, no, fireworks are cool. Like I said, I went and got checked. I'm clinically depressed. Is that what you call it? Like I got checked. And
what a good transition.
The doctor. Well, they don't. 4th of July happened. We pop fireworks. That happened.
We pop fireworks, and anyway, I'm depressed.
Well, I mean, is that how you call it? Like I went to the doctor. Like I talked to them. They're like, yeah, you're depressed.
Yeah, like, you look sad.
She didn't say it like that, but
yeah, you're getting diagnosed usually.
Yeah, you're getting diagnosed, and she was like, you know what? You don't have anxiety, but you are depressed. So we're gonna give you a prescription. And she explained it all to me. I got the lowest dose of Zoloft, and yeah, I guess I've been okay. I've been taking it all week.
Man, how's what's the difference?
I haven't felt sad.
Ooh, okay.
I kind of, oh man, it's weird, just mellow.
Mm-hmm.
I can get out of bed easier. I get up easier. Like nothing. I don't know. It's really hard to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not because like I don't want to. It's just hard to explain.
Yeah, no, it really is. The first time that I had like ADHD medication, like basically I got a job where I was working at Cloudflare for some months, and while I was there, I was just having such a hard time. Like, I was trying to learn a new programming language, get integrated into a team that was in person, but then switched to virtual because of the pandemic. And that meant that, like, I had to, like, they were not very good at integrating me into the team. And so I felt like I was bothering everybody by asking questions. And like, while this is happening, like, my brain doesn't, like, is not operating very well, because I'm now out of the structure of like being in an office and feeling pressure about, like, all right, I need to focus and get some work done. You know, so I'm working from home, and I eventually like got a diagnosis for ADHD. And once I like started taking Adderall, I mean, it didn't take but 2 or 3 days before I was like, oh my God, I can just work on stuff without like feeling like shit about it, or getting like 20 minutes in and then being like, no, come on, dude. Like, why am I not doing anything? Stop just surfing for the perfect YouTube video. Just like start doing work, man. I just couldn't. And then I can. And that's hard to explain to somebody, because you're like, no, I don't think you understand. I could not do the thing you want me to do. And they're like, well, what if you just did it? What if you just put on some music and made your own schedule? And I'm like, yeah, I can't. I couldn't do that. Could not.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if that's all it took, right?
Yeah, wouldn't it be fucking cool, dude?
I'm glad you could do that. Fuck. Yeah. So like, I take my 1 pill a day, and like the first day I didn't like really feel it. Like, like the next day I kind of like going through it. But like, I've been just getting like, I wake up, I get out of bed, I don't have any problems. Like I get up and go outside and hang out with my family more. Not outside, but like out in the living area. I've been doing stuff like it's not like curing my ADD as well, because I still have trouble focusing, but it has gotten me up more. Like, I've been helping out more. My mom also said she's seen a difference. She's like, what's it called? She's like, you've been more sociable, so like that's great. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I don't like, man, it's so hard to say. I don't feel sad. I just feel like mellow. Like I haven't been having like sad thoughts.
Yeah.
So.
You're not like, because that's what depression can do to you sometimes, is like, especially if you just notice, you're like, God, I've been sitting here on my phone for an hour. Then like that thought just spirals into like, God, what a piece of shit I am. I wish I could do anything. I'm just nothing. Oh God, I'm so bad. I'm such a bad friend and a bad son. You're like, God,
yeah.
It doesn't start.
That's exactly what it is. What it was like. And even with this lower dose, I gotta go talk to my doctor again at the end of the month to she'll see if I need like at least like a step above. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now, this is fine. Everything's going fine. Maybe we'll get a step above, but as for now, it's really been better.
Yeah, that's so. Like, usually what'll end up happening is you take a new medication and it works really, really well for a few months, and then you start to be like, well, I could like go up in a dose or switch dosage, but then at some point it eventually like evens out to where you're like, all right, this is the dosage that I like probably should be.
Yeah.
Whenever my wife was going through and trying to find like the perfect antidepressant, they tried I think Wellbutrin, and was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel so much better and I can do things and I can like, my life is together. That's
how I feel.
It feels like, is this how normal people feel all the time? Because this is really unfair if that's the case. And
Dude,
then
yes!
My wife was like, oh my God, now I'm getting a full body rash. Okay, I guess I can't take this anymore. But we like, seriously, for a full day was like, I don't know, maybe a full body rash is worth it. This does feel pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I have been feeling like so much better. Also, I guess the bonus serotonin of getting like my dream dog as well. So that's been helping. But that's how it feels, dude.
Yeah.
Just like, man, everything. I'm not gonna say I don't wake up and like fuck everything's great. I'm just like, man, everything feels average for once.
Yeah, not everything is depressing. I'm not like I don't think about things that I have to do and then want to vomit.
God, yeah, that's just how it is, and I don't know, like I said, I still gotta go get my ADD diagnosis as well. The best part of all this is my insurance covered the whole thing, like
Man,
free.
yeah,
And
that's the
my
best.
medication was $5.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that like if they would have told me my insurance wouldn't have covered it, my week probably would have been maybe worse, and I probably would have cried my way out of the office.
Yeah, okay.
Man, that guy's depressed. Sucks that his insurance doesn't cover it.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, so many people probably have like, depression or anxiety or like, attention deficit disorder, and they can't like, they can't go and like get help with it because they know that like either they don't have insurance or that their insurance isn't going to cover it. But also like the hoops that you have to jump through to get there are not particularly hard when you say them out loud. But when you like are talking to somebody that has problems like initiating things, they may as well be impossible. Like they're insurmountable issues. If they're like, oh yeah, call your insurance first to see if like this provider is within your network. And you're like, I'm fucking never doing that. Okay, well I guess I'm just never gonna do this. Or they're like, yeah, just like come in, like pick a day and just come on in, and we don't have an appointment, but like if you just walk in, never happening then.
Okay, look, here's what made it like me do it more. I went to my regular doctor for like my 2-week checkup, or my 2 week after, because I went in a few weeks ago and they wanted to do a check for my blood test results came in, and I asked her about it, and she said, "Oh, I'll see what's in your network, and I'll tell them that you want to see them, and they'll call you." I was like, "They'll call me?" Oh. so like that's what initiated. They called me. I didn't have to.
Yeah, dude.
And also, I guess what's part of like makes me want to get my ADD checked more. I had to go fill out a new patient form for him while I was there, and I don't know. I guess I didn't read some of it, and I was like, I guess I'm finished, and I turned it in. The lady's like, yeah, this page right here. It says if you want us to, if doctors want to see your our checkups and stuff for you, it says to initial here, and it says if you don't initial here. I was like, yeah, you initialed both. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
yeah, shit.
I didn't read it. I'm sorry. I just and then she's like, yeah, you also didn't fill out anything here, like you don't have like any family that can see you. I was like, oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
Man.
I was like, it's fucking bad. I felt like an idiot, but I did it real quick, and then they saw me. So,
man, I like, yeah, it's stories like that where you're like, wow, shit is real fucked up, and if you could just like, if you can get over that one little hump, everything gets better. But getting over that one little hump is sometimes impossible. Like my wife still, by the way, there's like a national shortage for ADHD medication because when the pandemic happened, enough people had that moment where they're like, oh shit, I actually have a lot of issues. I'm at home all the time, and it turns out this isn't normal. And so more people got diagnosed, but they haven't. There's basically like a limit to how much of like a certain drug can be produced in a year, and they haven't raised it for any of the ADHD medication. So what happens is like, whenever you're out of ADHD medication, you have to call to a bunch of pharmacies to be like, hey, do you have this in stock? And in particular for my wife hates being on the phone and will do anything to not be on the phone. And so I've noticed this. And so what I have to do is, as soon as my wife is like, hey, I'm almost out of ADHD medication, I'm like, okay, do you want me to call? And I was like, yes. And I'm like, great. So now what I got to do is call like Costco pharmacy, CVS pharmacy, Walgreens pharmacy, the grocery store pharmacy, and all of them be like, all right, like a prescription for like this medication at this strength. And they're like, yeah, I don't have any of those. Or Or yeah, I've got a prescription for the next level higher if you want that. And we're like, oh well, God, we have to like take it back to the doctor and be like, hey, this is all they got in stock. Can I just get that instead? And like they have to like write a separate prescription. It's like it fucking sucks so bad, and my wife cannot do it. So I'm like, it's worth it to me for 1 month of like. Of you being able to like handle your stuff and being able to like keep yourself on the rails, that like, yeah, sure, I'll do the 10 to 15 minutes of work that it takes to get this done, because I know my wife also does things for me. So it's like, it's fine. But without each other, it's fucking over, dude. I can't imagine my wife going through that process, and I can't imagine me going through that process if I was like, I can't call, just can't do it. Well, that's it. I don't take this medication anymore.
Guess it ain't for me, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Luckily, HEB has been a big help in having all my prescriptions, so I ain't got to worry about it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But anyway.
I went on a trip.
You did go on a trip. I saw you.
You did see me.
I saw you.
Viewers at home, you may have also seen me if you were watching GDQ. You
had to squint really hard.
You did. I was out in the crowd. I waved my hand a couple of times. Was wearing a mask, and you know, I was really out there.
He was out there living life like Larry. Living like Larry.
This GDQ, it was Summer Games Done Quick, and it's held in Minneapolis. So I flew out to Minneapolis on Saturday, and Sunday's when the event started, and then I came back on Tuesday. And
yeah, but you had a hell of a time.
I fucking did. So the first day, I was like, you know what? This is my chill day. I'm gonna go like get my badge. I'm gonna like go into the stream room whenever I want to. But I landed first on Saturday, sort of in the late afternoon. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to go to the library that's nearby. I'm just going to read a book. I'm going to like, I got a book on my Kindle. I'm not super into reading, but I'm trying to get back into it more. So I grabbed this book. And I go to the library, and I'm about to walk in, and some guy I swear he couldn't have been more stereotypical if like he tried. He's wearing an Ed Hardy shirt and a flat cap, and he comes out and he's like, hey man, you may not want to go in there yet because some motherfucker has a gun. And I was like, sorry, what? And he was like, yeah, dog, I was just in there, and this guy, I don't know what happened, but he stood up and he was like, you want to fuck with me? And he pulled a gun out and he was waving it around. And I said, shit, I don't need him in the library that bad. I was like,
why in the library? That's such a random place to pull a gun out.
Yeah, it was the downtown library, which like, okay, downtown, I could see people being like, yeah, things get a little rowdy down there, sure. But the library, like, the fuck was he doing?
Dude, people always talk about Texas being fucking hardcore, but like, goddamn, I've never seen anyone pull a gun out of a library.
Me either, at a library. I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm not gonna mess around with this.
You sure I got late fees? Fucking pulls out the gun.
Yeah, you positive about that? Or like he's looking at porn on one of the computers, and they're like, "Sir, you can't do that." And he's like, "Oh, violating my First Amendment right to look at beautiful penises in public, huh?"
Oh, you don't have a hardcover copy of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, huh? Gotta get my fucking Wizard World on.
I'm a fucking Avada Kedavra you right now.
Ooh, Wingardium Leviosa die.
Smith and Wesson is my killing curse. Damn.
Oh, damn.
So like, yeah, this dude is like talking to me, and I look inside, and sure enough, there's like 2 active duty cops and 2 security guards that are like talking to this dude. He couldn't have been more than 20 feet away from me, so I was like, well, all right.
I could use a snack.
So I walked around the library. Basically the library is like one big hallway, and it's got 2 huge sections on each side. One is like the actual library, and the other one is like a bunch of office rooms that you can rent out and stuff. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll just go to the back door real quick, and I'll see what's going on. So I go to the back door. I look in. guy's not there anymore. Like the cops like are out front and they're looking forward, and I'm like, well, the last place that this man is gonna come in to start shooting people is the library, right? So I'm just gonna go into the library. So yeah, that's how I spent my first day, was coming close to the threat of gunfire, and then just reading a nice book.
Honestly, I mean, that's like the whole package, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get there, you have a great touchdown, you check in, you have a bit of action and suspense, right? With the library, the gun holding, and then you have a nice like closing with reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what more in a day could you ask for, really?
Yeah. I felt pretty good about how I spent that day. Felt nice. The next morning, I woke up. I went to a place that was in downtown that had brunch. A place called Hen House. I had tiramisu pancakes.
I saw all the food you were posting for those couple of days, and they were so like, they looked really good. Don't get me wrong, but fuck, dude, how are your arteries?
Man, I went hard because I was like,
you ate like you were back in your teens.
Yeah, I said, because like my wife is vegan, and what that means is that whenever we're out on vacation together, we've got to pick a place that like both of us can eat at, which does add some amount of restriction to where we were, like where we can go. But this place, I was like, okay, I want breakfast. Like, I want coffee, and I want some kind of pancake or waffle kind of muffin thing. I found this place. I was like, oh, that sounds good. I sit down, and they were like, oh, the special for spring, because they hadn't changed to summer, I guess. It was a tiramisu pancake, and I was like, well, shit. That's decided for me.
I love tiramisu. Cake.
Same. Tiramisu's so fucking good.
Speaking of coffee, just bring it back to Alamo Fireworks. I should have took a picture of it, but they had this big firework there that was in the shape of a coffee mug.
Oh.
And it was called, what was it called? Like morning roast or something like that. It was, and I wanted to take a picture and be like, "Hey, Colby, found a firework for you." But that I was thinking of you the other day, so.
Well, okay. So after breakfast, I go to GDQ. I'm sitting in the stream room, and the thing to me that is so wild is that there are a bunch of people around me that I recognize, and they must be having a fucking wild time, because in their daily lives, these like speedrunners and Twitch streamers, they probably go to the store and like go in public and sit at the park by themselves and nobody bothers them because like how many people know them. But they go to an event like this, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's Spike Vegeta. Oh shit, there he is. Oh fuck, is that Gymnast? Oh shit, that's the dude who has the world record in fucking Wind Waker right now. It's really weird.
Yeah. It's like the red carpet.
Yeah,
speedrunners,
and they're all there basically, like at GDQ, like
geeking out.
Yeah, most speedrunners show up for a GDQ. It's a pretty hefty amount of the community is there. And the one thing that I realized is that no matter what, if there's any like celebrity or famous person that I like meet and I see in person, that my first thought always is, oh, they're a different height than I thought they were. Like, regardless of who they were, I saw Gymnast 86 again. Like, he's a 3D Zelda speedrunner, and I was like, that motherfucker's pretty tall. Holy shit. He's like over 6 foot. That's crazy. I saw Spike Vegeta, and I was like, we're the same height. I thought he was huge. For whatever reason, Spike Vegeta in my head is like 6'5" and a fucking big burly dude. But nah, he's just the same height as me. I was like, oh, well, okay, well, you're no longer a big presence now. I'm not like, oh shit, it's Spike Vegeta. I'm like, it's Spike Vegeta.
Yeah, God. Whenever you meet someone famous, it's always funny to see how truly tall they are compared to you in real life.
Yeah,
that's how I was when I met Ray Romano's brother.
Yeah, to be fair, Brad Garrett's huge.
He is gigantic compared to me.
Mm-hmm.
He has to hunch over to fucking talk to me.
Yeah, yeah. What are you saying down there? Huh?
Hey, you see my brother Ray? Fucking. Fucking, I took a picture with him, but like, it must have looked weird to him seeing this short, like Afro Mexican in the middle of Las Vegas with a bottle of Kraken in his hand.
Hell yeah.
But
Why not?
that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun time.
Um,
But
so yeah, like that was most of my day. Was like I went to GDQ, I was having a good time. Then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna stay here because a speedrunner that I know whose Twitch chat I'm in pretty frequently, she is doing Bayonetta tonight, and like I wanna be here for Bayonetta.
yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna probably take a break and go get some dinner. And eventually I was like, oh, you know what? I am gonna go back to the hotel room because I am just kind of like sitting here, and I do want to maybe get a nap in before. So I get back to my hotel room. I'm like laying in the bed. I'm like reading my book. Like I have GDQ on my tablet while I'm reading because that's who I am. And
so weird. You're at the event, but just in your room watching.
Yeah, just in my room. And I reach over to grab a cookie. I bought some cookies at Target, which was like a block away from the hotel. I reach over to grab a cookie, and it was fucking over. My back spasm came back.
Oh no!
My whole life was destroyed. Like, as I could feel it happening, I went, no!
Fucking
God,
time
please!
slowed down. Fucking time slowed down. It was that music from the fucking Godfather when they're shooting in slow motion.
Exactly.
Like, fucking...
And it's just me like twisting up in my bed, like EL fudge flying out of my hand.
God. Man,
it was the worst.
The whole trip. Yeah.
The whole like
that.
So that night I was like, okay, all right. I'm gonna order dinner. I'm gonna take it easy. And I couldn't find a comfortable position. I was like, oh man, my butt. Like I laid on the floor for a little bit. I'm like, let me just lay on the floor. I'll watch some GDQ from on the floor. It's fine. And then eventually my dinner got delivered, and I was like, okay, well I gotta go get up and go get those. Just the searing pain while I'm trying to like roll over. I'm like, fuck.
Arby crawled to the door to grab your fucking food.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, like, I'm in this streamer's Discord server, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I wanted to like be in person because there were maybe 50 people, and I was like, I could be like front row and be like, woo, fucking hyping her up and clapping and shit, you know, like get shit going. Like I could try to help, but I was like, I can't walk right now. I was like, this is the fucking saddest thing. So yeah, that was my day on like Sunday night. It was just fucking out of commission. And so the next day I wake up, my back is still in shambles, and I spend the next like, I call into Teladoc because I'm like, oh, that's right, my health insurance has like Teladoc for free. It should.
Yeah. So
I call into Teladoc, and they're like, cool. Well, it's going to be like $50 to talk to the doctor. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Fuck it. That's cheaper than going to urgent care. It's fine. Not a big deal. Whatever. So while I'm on hold, they're like, yeah, your doctor's going to call you back in like a few minutes. And just so you know, like if there's any like controlled medication that they're going to prescribe you, we can't do those kind of prescriptions. So it's fine. And I was like, I don't remember if muscle relaxers are a controlled medication or not, but
yeah,
it's fine. We'll figure it out. I get on the phone. Sure enough, muscle relaxers are a controlled substance. And they're like, I can't prescribe it. You better go to an urgent care. And I was like, okay. So I find an urgent care. I get an Uber to the urgent care. I'm filling out the forms, and they were like, sir, you can go sit down to fill out the forms. And I was like, no, I can't. If I sit down, I'm not getting back up. And they were like, oh, okay. So I just stood in the middle of this room filling out the forms. At one point, I like dropped a card like on the side of the desk, and I was like, oh, can you grab that for me? And she like looked at me like, it's fucking 4 inches. I'm like, I can't look down. She was like, oh, sorry. Yeah. Cool. Here you go. So
he just looks at you. The audacity.
Yeah.
Sir.
Lazy. I'm not your peon.
Talk about entitled. Fuck.
Jesus. So I'm like, I finished most of my paperwork, and the person who's behind the counter is like, "Hey, I tried to run your insurance and it's working, but they said that it's gonna be $250 for this visit, and that doesn't make any sense because like you should only be paying maximum like $40."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, probably figure that out. I don't know, man. So she comes back.
Your job?
She goes back after 10 minutes. She's like, hey, yeah, I don't know. I tried refiling it and it's still $250. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll pay whatever, man. Here's my credit card, please.
Just heal me, please. Oh, God.
So they finally, I get into the room, and like at this point, the like $50 from telehealth, another $30 for the lift, $250 just to be into this room. I'm like, we're over 300. We're over maybe $350 almost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm here. I just gotta wait for the doctor. The nurse is like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You know, we'll. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to sit down in the bed. I can't really transition between sitting and laying down, so it's not. Don't worry about me. I'm not gonna sit down in the bed. And I was like we did all the regular stuff, but my blood pressure was too high because I was standing up, and I was like, yeah, I can't really get into like a comfortable position. And she's like, oh, just like sit down, and I'll adjust the table for you. And I was like, okay, all right, yeah, sure. So I finally am like. I finally like get down into the chair. I'm like, ooh, okay, all right. Oh, so I like lean back against the chair, and I'm like, okay, all right, we're good. I'm fine. Like I'm like I'm good. I can just sit down like this. I say that to her, and it's like she just didn't care because she then takes the back of the chair, which is like at, I don't know, probably like not 90 degrees, but like at like a 60-degree angle, and just goes all the way flat. So I bounce off of the bed, and the scream that I let out in this doctor's, like, you could for sure hear me in the lobby go, ah! I felt so fucking terrible. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay. It's fine. Just don't move me, please don't move me. She was like, okay, I'll go get the doctor. And I'm like, good, cool. Doctor comes in, very short conversation. Hey, do you get back spasms often? Yes. What do you usually do? Muscle relaxers. Cool. What strength do you take? I don't know. All right, I'm going to give you the maximum strength I usually prescribe. Sounds good. Great. All right, cool. Get out of here.
God damn. They're like, yeah, I heard that scream from my office.
Yeah,
God.
holy, you were fucked up right now, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah.
Please, just heal me.
Please. I have to get on a plane tomorrow. So yeah, I ended up getting the muscle relaxers, and I ended up getting 2 GDQ at like 2 or 3, and with the muscle relaxers and just like sitting down and staying very still, I'm like, I'm feeling okay. I'm like, all right, this is fine. And I stay in the stream room for a few hours. My back starts to get a little tight, so I play Initial D at GDQ. Turns out they have a free arcade, like a local arcade, I think. Just gives them a bunch of machines for free play. And so like they had a bunch of rhythm games I'd never seen. They had like Tekken fighting cabs. That was the only one I played. It was Initial D.
I was saying, not that you could play any rhythm games.
Yeah, no, couldn't. Not a goddamn thing I could do. They had the one rhythm game that's like a big circle that you put your fingers on and shit. Oh, yeah, so cool. They had like the taiko drum set.
Ooh, hell yeah.
And my favorite thing about it is is somebody had put in a sign on top that said the drums of liberation ? And I was like, oh fuck, we got some One Pieces here.
Oh man, some Luffy's here.
Maybe 4, 5, 6 Luffy.
A couple of Sanjais.
God. So yeah,
I'd been
I
paying.
then
I'd pay
like I
attention.
that was it. After that I basically went back to my hotel room to make sure that I didn't blow up my back again, and I ate dinner and got on a plane the next day, and I was like, fuck man, I wish I could have spent more time there, but holy shit, like a good like 24 to 30 hours was just pain. Just pain.
Hey, look, fun is you. If you want to have fun, you gotta have a little pain.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cole, you got the picture from the crowd to the GDQ stream set, right?
I do.
Can you pull it up? I want
Yeah.
to see it. I want to see it again. I know I saw it, but I want to see it again, so our viewers can take a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. Show everybody what's going on, huh?
Yeah, they do. But
right.
anyway, that sounded like a good trip.
Let me move that over there.
I don't watch GDQ often. I know.
There we go.
I know you. I saw the other day when the dog did the. Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
I was in that chat for that Yoshi's Island speed run.
Yeah.
How could you see from back there? You're so far.
Here's the thing, like cell phone cameras just make shit look so far away. Like, have you ever noticed that when you go outside and you look up, you're like, oh man, the moon is like looks so cool tonight. And you take a picture, you're like, oh, it looks like shit on my phone. It looks so far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally see the sounds was great.
They got speakers everywhere.
Oh yeah,
I can't even see who's doing the speed run.
Yeah. Okay. So in this picture, if you if you just go all the way, basically here, my mouse. Let me move my mouse over to the screen. So, basically in the middle, you've got this big projector to show everybody like in the back, and then they've split the stage in half. So the left half is for like the run or like. It doesn't matter. I guess they switch halves of like which one is live. So while they're like finishing up one run, they'll start setting up for another one on the other side of the stage. And in this one, the runners are actually on the right hand side of the stage. So, you could barely see them. I had perfect line of sight to the announcer who was just there. But then on the far right, they've also got the prize segment area where like anytime they do interviews or whatever, they've got like all the prizes that they're giving away.
Over there on the right hand side on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Whenever they were there, I could see you in the very corner right there.
Yeah.
And I was at work at the time. I was like, Colby, I see you. Wave. And you were like, okay, wait till the camera pans back out. And sure enough, it did. And Colby's like, I was like,
yeah, woo! I'm on TV!
Woo! I mean, I text Kobe the gif of SpongeBob pointing fucking to himself. I was like, this is what that is. This is what just happened.
God.
It's so good. But yeah, I'm glad you had fun for like the little time you spent there. I don't know if I'd ever go to GDQ. Like you're big into speedrunning and you're big into like watching Twitch streams. Like I rather just watch the video of when it's over. Like I watched a little bit of Sea-Dog when he was playing Final Fantasy 9. I watched him beat the first disc, and I was like, I think I'll wait till the actual like hour-long fucking YouTube comes out to watch him. But,
yeah, that's fair.
But like, which is like very funny to me because like I want to get back into streaming, but like it's very how do you say, not ironic or hypocritical of me to say I don't like watching Twitch streams, but I like doing Twitch streams.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. It just depends on like the kind of content that you like to consume and whether or not you enjoy like being part of like a live event, like part of the audience.
I guess maybe I don't like.
Yeah, that's totally fair. You can't. The one thing is like with watching something live, especially if you're watching somebody like play a game where you're like, oh yeah, I know what's happening in this game. Like the stakes aren't very high. You can't fast forward through the boring parts. So especially like watching Sea-Dog VA doing Final Fantasy 9, I'm like, oh god, right, this is the ice cave. Yeah, like I fucking hate this part of the game, and you have to like fight the sea lion thing, and it's god, this whole boss fight sucks. I can't.
It was just,
and I'm just like,
it was just getting bad because like he completely skipped getting Queena at the first time around. Like he went through like the first disc without getting her. She's optional, and you can get her later. It's just she becomes powerful when you get her at the beginning because she eats things and gets blue magic, which is like one of the strongest magics in early game.
Yeah.
And he skipped her, and I was mad. I was like, "Oh!"
You're like, how do you not fucking know? And to be fair, he was very much like, don't spoil things, don't tell me anything about anything. Like, oh, all right,
yeah.
fine.
And then he was like going through the fucking Clara and stuff, and he was like, I just keep losing, and everyone's like, fucking grind. he was not grinding, and he's like, what do I gotta grind? That's like bad game fucking mechanics. I was like, you have to grind and steal, and you're not doing either.
Come on, dude.
I was just getting mad watching him. So like, I'd rather watch the actual fucking segment on YouTube than watching it live and being upset that he's not doing it.
God.
But yeah, he beat the game, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So
I
just can't watch live.
The next thing that I wanted to pick your brain about, I mentioned earlier that I was reading a book. I did finish the book.
Whoa.
And I'm going to tell it. Yeah, I'm very impressive.
Look at you, fucking smart guy.
I'm going to give you like a sort of like a rundown on like what happened without telling you the title. So like if someone decided to read it, it wouldn't be a spoiler. So,
all right.
Basically, book starts off with like an orphan, an orphan is found and not abducted, but like, raised by like, the church, and then is like sort of like a lowly peon, but he's really interested in reading and stories. And he's got like big fantasy dreams about doing stuff. And the whole book, he's proving that like he's got like an open mind, and he's like trying to help in unconventional ways, and like trying to have, conversations with people and be empathetic. And like his biggest asset is like having an open mind and like being creative. He's like, they juxtapose him with another character who's like, oh, he's like the prince. He's so smart and so cool, and he does everything, but like he ends up helping the prince out at some point. And so you're like, wow, the prince is like a shithead as a result of this. And this other guy, he came from nothing, and he's just like a cool dude.
He's just a nobody.
And then in the end of the book, they reveal like, oh, he's an orphan because he's actually like the son of like one of like these like gods in the world, and he's a special boy who has special powers. And I read that and was like, well, I had a lot of fun reading the book, but now I'm fucking pissed off at you for doing this.
Just Percy Jackson.
It's like Percy Jackson, yeah. So
is it Aragorn?
It's like Aragon. Yeah, there's a bunch of books where they do this, where they're like, you're like this, you're someone who like rose up just on the merits of like what you can do and what a good person you are. Oh, psych, actually, you were special the whole time.
That's every YA novel.
Fucking hate that. It turns out
everyone, Harry Potter, Aragon, Percy Jackson.
The thing is, Harry Potter gets rid of that almost immediately. Like the beginning of the book is learning like, oh, you're Harry Potter, you're a big fucking deal. And then the story happens for the next 7 books.
But even if he is the chosen one, but like there are no stakes because his plot armor is dense.
True, very true. They're like, no. Your mom died to save you. That means no one can kill you ever. Actually,
exactly. That's what it is. So like after you find that out, you're like, oh, there was just no stakes.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, every YA novel, you have this gifted person who's just like, I'm just a fucking average guy who grew up in the fucking slums, are not so rich, and then like some shit happens in wherever I'm living, and I found out I have the power of a god in my fucking arm.
Yeah. If it's at the beginning, I forgive it, and I'm fine with it, because it's like you set up the story and then you executed on it, and it was cool. Like I'm down with that.
Okay.
Like people complained that this was a thing that happened with Luffy, is like Luffy was just a guy that just had like this random shitty devil fruit, and it's because he's like really creative and such a badass that he's a big goofball that can do whatever. And now they're like,
Creative.
oh, actually, it was like the best devil fruit of all time. People are like,
creative. He just stretched his arm. All he did was make his arm stretch.
nah,
That's
not just that.
creative.
What, gear second being like, the blood goes through me faster. Gear third, whatever the fuck. Gear fourth was interesting,
Bone
right?
balloon. A gear third, bone balloon? Inflate your bones.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah. To be like,
Ew.
that's like an interesting way to use your like the thing that you have creatively.
Yeah.
And I get people being angry that like, oh, well, Luffy's just this fucking chosen one dipshit. There's enough things where like I'm actually fine with One Piece doing it. I'm kind of fine with like the way the story has gone. However, I haven't seen the end of Demon Slayer, and I haven't seen, but like I did read the end of like this book. Anything? Yeah,
Was
Tanjiro.
the chosen one all the time?
Yeah, good question. So like the beginning of Demon Slayer starts off with Tanjiro being like, I'm pissed off that like, you know, I've got my sister is a demon who like I'm taking care of, and is, you know, I'm like trying to make sure that she's like could become normal again, and I'm gonna work really hard. I'm gonna learn like water breathing, and he's like he's
Fire
busting his ass. He can smell stuff is like his interesting thing, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like you have like some inane like sense of like, oh, I can smell danger. I can smell murderous intent. I'm like, oh, that's actually cool. I'm down with that. But they've dropped in a couple of things where they're like, oh yeah, he saw in his like memories this dance that his dad did, and now it's like a super unknown but very powerful breathing technique. And I was like,
sword art,
yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't like where this is going. I don't like where that's going. Like Tanjiro's just a guy that worked hard, man. Like don't give him like some secret. He actually comes from a line of like the best demon slayers of all time, and he never knew.
Yeah, that's all of what fucking Bleach Ichigo
Yes.
and Naruto was.
Yes.
That's them. Bleach is just God. It's so stupid. He's a part hollow and part fucking arrow guy, and he's part soul society. Like he's just all of them in one.
Yeah, they're like, hey, did you know there's like a race of things called Quincy's? Oh yeah, Ichigo's one too. No big deal. Like what? Why?
Yeah,
How can you do this? Stop it.
It just so happens that because he's part Quincy, now he can wield the ultimate Quincy power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah,
What?
it's just, I hate whenever they do things like that, because you're like, I really wish that you could just let a person like be good on their own merits, rather than being like, he's like, I ran out of ideas for how he could overcome this obstacle, so now he just gets a buff for no reason.
Yeah, they did that with my favorite anime of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Mm-hmm.
But this was in the last arc, and like he goes through the whole fucking thing, and in the final arc, like he's losing to like the fucking last guy. Fuck, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
The guy with like the dot in the middle of his head with the 7 personalities. He's like losing, and then like he awakens, and he's in like a demon form, and it turns out that his a couple of generations, like I guess past, where he was related to like one of the ultimate demon lords from the demon world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where when he gets like his fucking long hair and gold form.
Yeah.
But he loses control and he takes over, but he fights back against it. Like he doesn't like using that power.
Mm-hmm.
But it does give him like a massive buff because he's part demon now.
Yeah. I just like, I wish that there was I wish that they would like stop doing things like this, because even if you plan it from the beginning, like even if you're Like, you know what I think? I think that this character is gonna like there's a missing prince, and like we're gonna get to the end of the story, and he's gonna pull out the magic sword that can only be pulled out for the like the bloodline. But like, in order to get there, he's got to prove himself. He's got to be like a good dude. Because like now I'm like, oh yeah, I think that this guy is just a good guy. Because he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's like, going through like hard situations, and he's really busting his ass to like try and make up ground for the fact that he's like, he's starting out pretty disadvantaged. He's an underdog. Turns out he's an overdog the whole time, baby.
They kind of what's it called? Subjected your expectations in Freerin when you find out that the hero, I forget his name,
Himmel, yeah,
Himmel never pulled out the hero sword,
mm-hmm.
but never told anyone, and made a hero sword replica just so people wouldn't lose hope.
Yeah,
and he still defeated the demon lord.
Yeah, that's cool shit. Like, that's a cool subversion of expectations. Because like with Freerin, they also like you're never under the illusion that like Freerin is not a good sorcerer. Like you never think like, oh yeah, as far as like people that could do magic in this world, like Freerin is she's fucking like not great. Like the whole time you're like, oh, she beat the Demon King, she must be pretty fucking good at magic.
Yeah, like there's never a time where you're just like, oh, there's no way she can't win. Of course she can win. She's not going all out like the whole time, but they spend a whole good story of her explaining how she conceals her powers, and she never has to use her powers. Mm-hmm. She still has them. She just never has to use them.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm trying to make it like make a story that is about like, oh, I overcame the odds and like I was victorious, and not because of being born a certain way. The only one that I could come up with, though, was like, imagine in Death Note if L was like, I figured out who Light was because I also got a Death Note, and I've had a Death Note the whole time, and I just asked my guy. I said, like, who's that guy? Well, it's Ryuk's dude. He's a guy named Light. I found you, son of a bitch.
The thing is, it's just such a common trope that like everyone uses, and it just depends on how you use it. Like if it's fine if it's there, but just don't go over the top with it. Like Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach, I think, is the one that I always point to, and I'm just like, fuck. What? Like, is there any other fucking bloodline in him that he's gonna be a part of? Fuck.
Yeah, like every new arc, I'm like, I don't know, if you roll a dice and it's even, he's got extra blood. His grandfather turns out was Samoan, and now he's part Moana. So he's got Maui hook powers because he's Samoan. It's fine.
His fucking his fucking sword, what's it called? It like turns into a hook, and then he can go to an animal.
Yeah. He says Bankai, and then he turns into a big hawk.
Son of a bitch. Speaking of trailer from Moana 2 teased a while back, and then the live action. Oh, what a nightmare that's gonna look like.
God, I know, right?
Oh man, but like I don't mind. Like even in Western media, that trope is kind of used. Like they use it in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The very like episode 4 with Luke Skywalker, he was the chosen one.
Yeah,
well, Anakin was the chosen one, but he went evil, and then Luke was the chosen one. But like even in all 3 of those movies, 4, 5, and 6, like he got his ass whooped like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he's won any fight he's been in, besides when he did the surprise on Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, he won against Darth Vader and the Emperor.
But he didn't beat them because the Emperor got the jump on them when he had Darth Vader dead to rights.
Mm-hmm.
Remember after they were fighting, and then he had Darth Vader down, the Emperor came behind him, electrocuted them.
Yeah.
And then it took Darth Vader to get up and throw him into the fucking into hell.
Yeah. Which is like, I get, and I think that's like, it's not that I'm, Because I think that that's actually probably fine too, and I think it's because of the work that Luke had to put in. Like the second movie was all him getting his ass kicked. Um,
Yeah.
the first movie was him not knowing what he was supposed to do. The second movie was him finding out what he was supposed to do and being unable to do it because he was shitty.
Yeah.
And like Ray had a very similar thing, but it felt like she didn't have as much hardship in the second movie. So in the third movie, when people are like, "Why can she do all this like crazy shit?" They're like, "It's unearned," and I'm like, they just didn't show her struggling enough in the second movie. Maybe.
I think because in Star Wars Episode 7's thing, they did the hero's journey in like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
like
showed her.
I get that she's like, "Oh, I now know how to do the Jedi mind trick." I was like, that's a bridge too far. I don't think you'd be able to figure out how to do that.
Like if they would have showed her like force push the guards against the wall and then like I don't know, get the key and then like get out, I'm like, okay, I could believe that she didn't know what she was doing and she like force pushed on accident.
Yeah.
And it helped her. That could have worked.
Yeah.
But like Jedi mind trick, I feel is like an advanced technique.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it feels like.
Who barely knows what the force is.
Mm-hmm. It feels like something where you have to be like pretty nuanced. I mean, to me, at least headcanon Jedi mind trick is like, yeah, if this happens to you, you could like destroy someone's brain if you're not careful.
Yeah. You're basically like blasting your way through someone's consciousness and rewriting what they know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like that's why people are mad at Rey, because she's pulling out these advanced tricks without learning how to use them.
Yeah.
Where like Luke didn't use the Force until like he used the Force when he blew up the Death Star in Part 1, but barely. Like he had to focus and take off the thing to shoot the missile and like focus. In like Part 2, he could pick stuff up with the Force, but like and use I guess Force acrobatics because he was like doing front flips and shit. He was making himself agile. But like he didn't use it like right off the bat.
Man. Yeah.
And he's the son of Darth Vader.
Yeah, he could do anything. That's what I mean is like if they've worked enough at something, then I'm kind of okay with it. But like in this case, it was like at the end of this book that I read, it was like, oh God, something is happening and no one can stop it. And then he's like, oh, I have the exact superpower that we need in this moment to be able to save the day. Oh shit. And I was like, all right, okay, that's enough of that. I don't need to hear this anymore.
And he already just slammed the book. This is stupid.
I'm fucking done with this.
It takes a good writer to pull off that trope and not have like it be a MacGuffin. It's just I don't know. I can live with it. Like I watch a lot of isekai where we're like, oh, I'm in this world and I was given like ultimate power.
Yeah.
And now we gotta like use it. I don't know. I isekais like that are fun when you, especially like when they're given the ultimate power, but they gotta build up to be like ultimate. What's it called? The Reincarnated as a Slime does that.
Yeah.
Starts out real small, gets powers, gets big, gets strong. Now he's a demon lord. Fucking what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically like Reincarnated as a Slime, but his family were from another world, and then he got teleported back to that world by the goddess, and it's called like Suko something.
I believe you.
And the goddess didn't like him because he looked ugly, so she gave him the power to like read all languages and not be able to speak human. But I guess when he went to this world, he was overpowered already, so he kind of just built his power like that. Now he's like almost as strong as a god. It's stuff like that is pretty fun. But don't like start off like your hero like he's fucking Joe anyone, and then and then be like, oh, but by the way, he's related to Jesus or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine if like reincarnated as a slime, like toward the end of the season, they're like, oh god, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do this. Like, trying to become a demon lord isn't, may not be able to, and then they're like, well, did you know that like actually the slime class has like a secret hidden buff that if you get negative experience, it actually wraps around and gives you god experience. Like, some shit like that would be like, okay. Yeah, all right. I thought my boy was just like doing it, putting in the work and getting it done, but I guess not.
That's kind of like one of my favorite animes from last season. Chilling in another world with my level 2 powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he got not reincarnated, he got summoned to another world. And whenever you're summoned to this world, you are born with a level and a level cap.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go above it, and you can't like do anything about it. And when they checked his skills, he was only like at level 2,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't go higher. But like he had the infinity symbols on all his stats, and no one knew what the infinity symbol meant. And he didn't know, and they're like, "Oh, fuck you! You're a piece of shit!" And they like kicked him out of the kingdom, and they tried to kill him. And it turns out that he's just all powerful.
Just has all the stats.
He does. He infinity stats. He could use magic. Like he could use all the highest magic. The system like can copy magic, and then he can use it just infinitely. But like he doesn't know that not until like I don't know 5 episodes in or something, and it becomes like that kind of isekai into a slice of life isekai, and he's fighting the demons, and then he fought like a wolf demon that turns into like this hot girl. She starts like she fell in love with them. They get married, and then they're just like chilling. They're like, we don't want to fight, but he's still using like everything happens to him. I don't know. I love that show.
I'm down with something like that, especially if it happens sort of up front. Like, first 2 episodes, you get a hint of like, oh, this guy's like got something special about him. But if you get to like the end and they're like, oh man, part of the climax is him like he didn't awaken like a new power that's in line with the things he can already do. It's like, imagine if like you get up to the end of the Alabasta arc, right? And like Crocodile is like fighting Luffy, and he's like, you can't beat me because you're a stupid piece of shit rubber man. And then Luffy's like, actually, my power isn't the gum fruit. It's actually the resin fruit. I'm gonna trap you in resin and fucking like, God. All right, cool.
I'm sure there is like a resin fruit.
Of course there is.
I don't think Oda would do that. His fucking powers that he gives people are weird and like food based. Or like just random based, like fucking Jaguar's got springs and somehow he's strong.
Yeah.
Fucking you have what's his name that has not Taffy. What's his power? The one from Cake Island.
Oh,
the sun.
Yeah. Mochi.
Mochi.
Katakuri.
And he's basically just Luffy.
Yeah.
Just I like seeing cool powers like that. I don't care if like everyone's pissed off that he's just a god now. Like they're making it interesting. He's not just like he didn't go gear fit and go Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Like, he became a fucking rubber hose cartoon, which I think is a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it's rather than being like, oh yeah, he's also this thing. Like Bleach, like I'm so glad you brought up Bleach, because Bleach is like the worst offender of this, is by being like, oh yeah, Ichigo's gonna have to like, he's gonna have to dig real deep, and like he's gonna have to like, I don't know, double Bankai or some shit. Like he's gonna have to become like the best like Shinigami of all time.
Yeah.
But no, instead he's like, oh, I also am you. I'm also the villain. I can also do that. Me too. I can do that too.
I would have been fine if like it just stayed as his dad was an undercover soul society, and he was just like part of those people. It would have been fine. I would have been like, oh, that's interesting. So like he's not just some some guy who was like sensitive and
Mm-hmm.
then just happened into being a Soul Society member.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, his that makes the story a little bit more interesting. But then just to be like, oh, by the way, fucking one of your great grandfathers was a Quincy, one of the first ones, and now you're a Quincy, and oh, by the way, you're part Hollow
Yeah.
because your mom or something. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, are you
Stop.
just not creative?
It's
Like,
like,
are you making these super strong villains and can't come up with a creative way that Ichigo can like fight them?
yeah. You can't like, I don't know, think of something else that's gonna happen, or I don't know. Maybe he gets a different sword, and it's like, oh yeah, you've got to like
Yeah,
you got to learn how to
can't-
use like two swords or some shit.
like he can't like surpass like fucking his Bankai. Like a new form can't come up. Like he can't be like, oh, because I'm like half human and half fucking whatever. Like I have like this cool sword now.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't just give the guy everything when you think of something.
Yeah, yeah, you're like,
Make
all right,
it-
here's like a bunch of new villains, and they've got all these cool different powers because they I'm gonna make a new race in Bleach. It's mole people. Yeah. Okay, so they live underground, and but the thing is, because they're like, they're used to the dark, they can like
They
they
fight
can
at
see
night.
really well, or they hear stuff
Yeah,
real
they
good.
hear really well.
They can feel like their reflexes are way better than
they-
normal because they can feel stuff in the ground.
Yeah, they can like earthbenders. They
Yeah.
feel the reverberations of the ground.
And then so like we're gonna get into a fight where like Ichigo can't even hit him because they just like can always hear him coming and feel him coming. And rather than him being like, oh well, I've got to attack from the air now, that way they don't know where I'm coming from, instead he's like, one time when I was a kid, I went to a playground and I felt an earthquake. I remember how that feeling felt. Oh, it's because my great aunt was a mole. Got it! I'm gonna kill you now!
It all makes sense now. She was a mole the whole time. Just fuck you, Ichigo. Fuck it. Like, oh man, it's become absurd. That's why I stopped watching it. The 1,000-Year Arc came out on fucking Hulu, and I was like, I'm not watching this.
Mhm.
I'm like, once I found out that he was part Quincy, I'm like, this is stupid. I was like, this is dumb. How do people just agree? Like, they given this information and they're just like, yup, that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
With Luffy, at least there was like 1,000 like episodes, and there was hints like more than halfway between that. Like back in the Skypiea arc,
Mm-hmm.
there was like hints that like nothing is like what Luffy has isn't what it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And like he worked hard. Like he had his devil fruit, but like he uses like he trained, he learned hockey. He doesn't just one shot people. He's not like, I remember Shanks told me how to do this, and now I can do this. I can use swords. Like that's just not how it goes. Like it's vastly different from One Piece.
Yeah.
Like Bleach is so stupid. Would you say that Saitama in One Piece falls under this, like the chosen one?
It depends. I haven't read to the end of One Punch Man. If they ever give a reason for Saitama being like overpowered and the strongest person on the planet, yes, I will be pretty pissed off about that. If they just leave it as like, nah, he just worked out and is real good, then I think that's great. I'm into that. That's fine.
I still like, because people always say he has a god in his fist. Like I like the idea of like, I don't know, he worked out so hard that like a god was like, man, this guy's fucking working it, and just bestowed his powers on him. I think that's cool. I think that
it's kind of cool,
but didn't
like,
tell anybody.
I would prefer if they just didn't tell me anything. If they just let me believe that, like, nah, if you did 100 push-ups and 100 like that's it, you would do that. It's not hard. It's just no one does it.
I just feel like it's funny if, man, I don't know if they explained that it only could have happened to Saitama. If someone did it exact same way he did, they wouldn't get the powers he got.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's special that only it happened to Saitama.
Yeah.
Like if there were just, if like, he beats fucking Gauro and Garo starts doing the training and then he got fucking powers. I think that would be lame. I think it would be better like just something special about Saitama. Like I don't know, he just happened to do it, and I don't know, burst through his limits, and he was the only one that could.
He's the only one that was able to. I like that's what I mean though, is like I want that to be, I want to never know. I don't want anybody to ever tell me why it was like it happened. Because if that happens, then I'm like, well, all the mystery is gone. It's the same thing with King. Like, for some reason, King always is in a bunch of situations in which people think that he's like the strongest and the best, and he's able to get out of them consistently every time. And there's a theory that like there's some power that he has that it's able to do that. But if they were ever like, oh yeah, well, it turns out that King is like actually like he's got the powers of the trickster god Loki and he just doesn't know it, then I'd be that's fucking boring.
I think it would be great if his power was just like good luck and bad luck. Like the power of luck where he can't control it, he doesn't know he has it. He just has bad luck to run into all these just giant fucking monsters. But like he has like such good luck that he could talk his way out and make everyone seem that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, that's like...
That's what it is. That's basically what it is.
But yeah. I just don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Like, if you don't tell me that that's the case and you're like, yeah, that's what actually happened. That's what the author said and how he wrote it. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't want to know.
I think One Punch Man is funny on its own. And it wouldn't make me not stop watching if, like, at the end they were like, oh, by the way, you know, Saitama was born under, like, this one star and God gave him his powers, but he had to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wouldn't take me out. I'd still had a good time, like, reading it and watching it.
Yeah, but at that point I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Okay.
I'd like I said, it wouldn't take me out. I still love it. But like, I don't know. I'm trying to think like other shows like that do it. A lot do it, but like, people are trying to say like, My Hero Academia did it, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I haven't seen the end of My Hero Academia yet.
He loses his powers, doesn't it?
I have no idea.
I feel like that's it because like I've been seeing a lot of people draw Deku like powerless at like, what is he, 19? Mm-hmm. Working at like a McDonald's.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like it would make sense that that's like how it would end, right? Because the whole thing is about like acquiring this like harnessed power that's like been built up over time specifically to combat All For One, and then they defeat All For One is how I'm imagining the manga ends. But like, yeah, so that would make sense to me. But if they were like, oh yeah, the reason why Deku actually was able to make One For All the best is because he actually is a descendant of the original wielder, I'd be like, oh, this is fucking stupid then. Yeah. I'm out. I hate this. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I stopped. Why did I stop? I don't remember why I stopped watching. But it's a good show, good characters, but like, I don't know, I kind of lost the hype. I think this was like at the height of like superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of lost the hype, and I gotta pick it up again because it looks good from like what it is. I just kind of, I don't know. I got tired of like watching it.
Yeah.
I keep up with like a lot of anime too.
I think most people are right there with you. I think most people like started off with My Hero Academia are like, wow, this is actually fucking cool. We're learning so much about like all these different characters. There's a bunch of different quirks and stuff. I think probably where it started to go wrong was the training arc where they're in the woods.
Oh yeah, with the fucking muscle guy.
Yeah,
and the cat group.
Yeah, the cat group. I think that's probably what happened. Is because like for me, it's the same thing where you're like, okay, that's like interesting that you're doing this training thing, but it took so long to get to like where they were going, and like the fight, but like the final fights there were like interesting and cool, but there wasn't enough of a payoff at the end. Like they took too
Well,
long to set up the league of villains and like
villains.
the villains. They took too long with like Redestro and all the other shit. Like they just spent or she, I'm not sure who the mangaka is, but like the mangaka spent too much time like setting all of that stuff up and like not paying it off to where I was like, God, I was out and then I came back in because they were like, oh, spoilers for like the most recent, I guess, previous season of My Hero Academia when Deku was like, I'm going to be a vigilante now. And I went goth for a minute. I was like, all right, I'm into that. That's kind of a cool idea. And then now you're going to go from that into like he reunited with everyone and now the final battle is happening right now, right? It's happening right now. And the answer was no. They're like, we're going to do one big fight, but then another big fight is going to happen later. And I kept being like, when is the fucking end of this, dude? Because like you keep setting this up as if this is the end and it never is. And I'm not buying it anymore because I don't care.
Yeah. I stopped watching when they beat fucking Hand Guy.
Hand Guy. Oh, yeah. Well, he's not beat. That's the thing.
Well, fuck, I don't know. I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
When they raided the building.
Yeah. That's a really good example too. Is you're like, okay, they're like, oh, they raided the building. They figured out where they are. Great. Like there's going to be a big epic fight scene. And it was like so much fighting that you're like, there's no way this cannot be the end. Right? Right? Yeah. But nah, turns out, it wasn't the end. They were like, yeah, a bunch of stuff happened and some stuff was revealed, but ultimately it didn't matter. And you're like, cool, nice.
The thing with My Hero Academia, I think that sets it apart is there's like no overarching goal besides beating All for One, and everything in between is just kind of training and getting ready to beat him.
Yeah.
Or One for All, right? And,
One for All is Deku's. All for One is the bad one.
All for One.
AFO.
FO.
AFO. All for One?
Oh,
that's
AFO,
how they abbreviate it.
Oh, that's stupid. So like I said, it's just get the beginning, training, hitting small milestones. There's no overarching goal besides beating him, and then when you beat him, then what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't know. There just wasn't enough. Everything was focused on like, we've got to fight Shigaraki. We got to like kill All for One, and like, but that's like the whole time you're like, okay, are we doing it this time? Is it okay? It's not this time. Okay, we beat him, but not really. Okay, so we got to beat him again, but different. Okay, so he's out, and now we got to beat him again. You're like, fucking,
yeah.
I don't know. There's not like there's not anything. There's not like a big overarching thing. It's just a dude.
Yeah, and they keep fighting like God. It's almost become like a Saturday morning cartoon. They keep fighting the same like lackeys. They keep fighting Shigaraki and twice. And fucking what's her name? Like, there's just I don't know. It's that interplays with them going to school and doing school stuff. I don't know. I just kind of got over it.
Well, like, so for instance, you take a look at something like Gundam Wing, right? Yeah. You could say like, oh yeah, they fought Zex Marquise a bunch. Like Zex Marquise got his ass kicked a bunch of times, and then there was some other stuff that happened, but like. It was never like, okay, we have to fight and kill Zex Marquise. Oh, we did it. Oh, and we won. Okay, well we got to do it different in 2 weeks. It was like the story is moving, right? Things are constantly happening, and they don't also spend fucking 4 episodes on one fight. You're not like that. You know, in Dragon Ball Z, imagine if they fought Frieza. If the whole Frieza saga happens. Right? And they finally kill Frieza. They're like, oh man, we beat Frieza. And then just they brought Frieza back for another full season then next season. Like they're like Namek happens, you know, it ends, Goku gets instant transmission, and then like, you know, when Frieza shows up like, oh, I'm Metal Frieza, and he gets fucking cut in half by Trunks. Imagine if that was the whole next arc, was just Metal Frieza. It'd be shitty.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, I wouldn't want to see that again. I would. They're like, we just beat this guy. Now he looks shitty. Why do I want
Yeah.
to see him on Earth doing the same thing as Namek?
Yeah, God,
Like,
we already beat him once. Stop.
yeah,
If you're gonna
like
bring him back later when he's like gotten better or something.
I think that's a good example. Like Dragon Ball Z always had an overarching villain for arcs, and that's what helped move it. Like their story, and then it was always fighting to do something. Like even going to Namek, they didn't know who Frieza was until they got there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vegeta mentioned it every once in a while when we saw him, but like they were going there to get the Dragon Balls, and then they're like, "Oh fuck, this galactic fucking Hitler's up here."
Mm-hmm.
Just and then they fight him, and then Goku goes and becomes Super Saiyan, and then they come back to Earth. The fucking android saga. You got to find the androids and then Cell,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, years pass and it's Boo. It's not like just one guy. Just keep fucking foiling fucking Goku's plans.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not it's almost like
And they all have different like goals.
mm-hmm. Like
So
imagine if you were watching what is it? Fucking God, the Wolf Boy.
yeah,
God, what is it?
uh,
What the fuck is it? He's
Wolf
in red, he's
Boy?
got a big sword.
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha. There we go.
He's
Imagine
a
if you're
dog.
watching Inuyasha, right? But every week it was Inuyasha versus Shishomaru, or like every 5 or 10 episodes they fought Shishomaru for 4 episodes, and then Shishomaru escaped, and they were like, "Damn, we really almost had him." But you know what? We're going to get him this time. Don't worry about it. And
Yeah.
you're like, I can't believe you anymore. I don't care.
Exactly. Like, man, I was fucking. What were we just talking about? Oh, what is All for One's even goal? Like, what is his like? What is his plan?
So number 1 is to get one for all, right? That's the number 1 thing. And then the second thing, I think, is to just rule Japan, I think.
That's stupid.
It is stupid.
It's stupid. I mean, there's a lot of like shonen villains that have like similar things, but they're not just like I'm gonna rule Japan. Like it's always something. Like it's always something else. Like it's not just that. That's so fucking Saturday morning cartoon villain shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb. Like even in One Piece, like there's someone like Blackbeard's not going there just to rule the fucking world. He wants the One Piece so he can overturn the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of
Or
cool,
whatever the
kind of
fuck.
sick.
Yeah. Like he's like no more laws, right? I'm gonna be the guy who got the One Piece. I gotta find out, but like there's a whole bunch of other shit going on. Like the Navy's trying to get it, and the fucking elders are trying to get it so they can have a stranglehold on the world like they have now. Like no one's like really a good guy in One Piece. There's a lot of like I mean there is a good like Luffy's crew and then like one fucking Whitebeard's crew. Like there are good people trying to like get to One Piece and figure it out and then like you know find stuff. It's just not like we're gonna get the One Piece and that's gonna be the thing to rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how. Like it's more intricate than that.
Yeah.
And I think because My Hero Academia is like basically a superhero type show that's all they really could be, right? That's all it really could be. It's a bad guy who's gonna rule Japan.
Man, it's fucking it gets me so frustrated because I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of My Hero Academia. I really liked the first season where Deku's like learning to use his quirk. The second season where he like does the tournament arc, I was like, okay, you have set up all of the characters that we need. Let's start going. Like My Hero Academia could have been I'm going to say 4 season, maybe 5 season show, and it would have been really strong. But it's how many seasons are there now?
9? Is there? I don't know.
God.
I
Season 7 is what we're on right now.
And they're 2 movies deep.
Yeah, there's going to be at least 2 more seasons to like round this out. So at this like 9 seasons, maybe 10 seasons. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Like I like oh man, I'm trying like I'm trying to think like anime that I like that does stuff like that. Like My Hero Academia is just so lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the anime that you suggest to people who don't know what anime is because there's enough characters that they could latch on to.
Yeah.
But like in like say One Punch Man, like there's no goal. It's just fucking Saitama like fighting like immeasurable odds that come his way and just happens to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like the goal is him just so he just wants to fight crime and like chill. There's no like there's this one bad guy who's just gonna do something. It's just stuff comes his way and he just deals with it.
Yeah.
And the whole world deals with it. Or like Yu Hakusho, he's out there solving crimes until like he fucking figures out like some dark shady shit and he's got to put a stop to it. And he goes on even after the manga finishes. That's what he does. That's
Mm-hmm.
what's presumed to do. But like in My Hero Academia, like you can't latch on to Deku because like after it's all done, it's done. He's not gonna have his power anymore. He's just gonna be a guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
there couldn't be a continuation of it.
Yeah, which like I'm cool with. I think self-contained stories are great, and like I don't give a shit about having somebody be like, oh, actually, this sets up like the stuff for the sequel. Like I'm totally fine with if that's how My Hero Academia ends, is with Deku being like, all right, I used One for All, I killed All for One, and I set everybody else free. Great, awesome, that's a cool ending. But just do it in a shorter amount of time, dude.
Yeah, don't fucking. You're dragging it out, and like for like I guess good reason. They're making a lot of money on it, like
Oh yeah,
merchandise and shit.
yeah.
It's just, I wish it was like every year. It's just like, oh, new My Hero Academia is coming out, or like every other year or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Like I do more better things to do with my time. Like
Yeah, and like
beating games.
the like One Piece has been going on for 20 years, and I think I think the biggest thing is just that like at no point are you ever like, oh yeah, Luffy's almost done. Luffy's like, this is it. Luffy's about to reach Laugh Tale. Luffy's about to become the king of the pirates. Luffy's about to throw over the government. Like, at no point are you ever like, oh shit, we're in the end of One Piece. You're like, we're at the end of an arc, maybe. And My Hero Academia has just been setting that up and taking it away so often that you're like, I can't care anymore, dude. I don't care.
Yeah. In every arc of One Piece, he's nowhere near the end because like what the goals are. You got to find the road poneglyphs, and then like little by little they've been figuring out about the world-ending weapons, and then you're figuring out more about Luffy. It's just that there's a lot going on. That's why it's taking forever. You got to see what's going on with the Navy. You got to like Luffy's fighting for something because they're for some reason there's someone that like in the know is fighting against him and they happen to be in the same place. He stopped Kaido because he was like ruling over Wano like with an iron fist and ruining that nation. And it just so happens that he had a fucking red poneglyph. It just everything is like laying into place. Like whenever you're watching it, you're never like, oh, the next arc could be like he just fights the One Piece or whatever. No, you know what's happening when it's happening. They don't dangle it in front of you and take it away like right when the season's about to finish.
Yeah. It's I get to I like the way that Oda does the storytelling, and I like that he gets to the point with stuff. Like he takes a long time to get there, but at no point are you ever like, I don't know, maybe now, maybe later. It's like whenever he's teasing something, he either like sets it up and doesn't make you think that he's going to give you the answer, or he's like, oh, it's a cliffhanger for later, wink. Yeah, whenever I read that book, I was like, how dare you end this book by being like, yeah, this man is like the chosen one. And just I hate that, and I hate whenever they're for My Hero Academia, I hate whenever they're just like, oh yeah, no, it's the end for real this time though. Like imagine if in every Harry Potter book they were like, yeah, we killed Voldemort for real this time.
Yeah. I guess what I could tie My Hero Academia to? Legend of Zelda. right?
Yeah.
Because every Legend of Zelda, Link's the chosen one, and he always fights Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
But it always happens again in every game, except for this new one that just got announced,
Mm-hmm.
where it's Zelda
Hell
is
yeah.
now. And that game looks fun. That game
Yeah.
looks really fun. But like that, how do you feel about that? Like, I know you like the games. It's the same thing. It's the chosen one. He gets the Master Sword, and then he's just gonna be Ganon again.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like My Hero, we're complaining about My Hero Academia, but what about that? How do you like that? How does that feel?
I mean, like, the thing about Zelda though is that, like, I don't know. Imagine if
Even
at the
Mario does
end,
it.
imagine if at the end of Breath of the Wild they were like, "Oh yeah, you killed Calamity Ganon. Wink. Actually, Calamity Ganon is still alive. Got to go kill him in the next one." Like every Zelda is like a self-contained story, and I don't feel like they're like, "Yeah, you really did it this time." In fact, even Final Fantasy VII, like the remake, is not like, you killed Sephiroth for real. He's definitely dead. There's in the sequel next seasons.
No,
You're like, he's not gonna be there because he's dead.
the ending was so somber in that, and you knew he was alive. That's why everyone was sad.
Yeah,
They went through all that just for him to still be alive. I would even say Mario does that, where just the basic Marios, where you go through the game, Bowser has Princess Peach, you make it to the end and you save her. You don't kill him, or like you defeat him, but in the next game he just does it again.
mm-hmm.
So like he's kind of the chosen. He's the only one in the Mushroom Kingdom that can fucking put a stop to Bowser. Outside the RPGs are different.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a to me it feels like whenever you have, like, at the end of a thing revealed, like, aha, I've got you. there's a new thing that's coming up, and this is how I feel like you got lazy, and you're like, you didn't add any hints to it. You didn't be like, oh, this strange shit is happening. Like, this person knows more than he should.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just feels so lazy.
Yeah.
Fee,
I agree with you.
we're at the end.
The end of the line.
Yeah, this is it. This is the last episode. We're both gonna die now.
At the same time.
Yep, that's right.
Holding hands.
Listen, if you're listening to this live, congratulations, you're already here. But if you're not, you can listen to this live at our on Twitch at twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. We go live anywhere between 0 and 2 times a week. Sorry we missed last week. I had a back spasm.
So did I. So did I, but his was bad.
Yeah, true. And if you want to check the replay, like the actual like video content of this, it'll come out on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. But if you want to catch the audio version, which has a slightly better audio, then you can listen to it. It'll come out at 5 a.m. Pacific time, so you can listen to it on the way to work.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's great.
Or 3
You can watch us on
a.m.
YouTube.
time? Oh well, whatever. It's fine.
Something like that. You can watch us on YouTube at 2.
Yeah, we got shorts on YouTube, dog. Man, our shorts are good on YouTube.
So good.
And you should watch them. We've also got some new gameplay videos on our YouTube. So if you want to watch me and Fee run over people in a car in Fortnite, then you've got it. It's right there for you. You could go watch it right now. I
gotta edit some more footage together to get some more videos out there for y'all.
Hell yeah.
I want to do more gameplay videos on the channel, so we'll see.
Do it.
More than just Fortnite.
Yeah.
I love Fortnite, but that can't just be our thing.
True.
Podcast and Fortnite. But anyway, yeah, I want to do more of that. Also talking about making changes to just having the PNG and vaporwave fucking space.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see if we spruce up some of the visuals for you, the people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Here's what I want you to do.
Tell him, Fee.
I want you to go buy some fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to buy some fireworks, and I want you to keep popping them And when you get the police called on you and they tell you to, hey, stop that. Wait for them to leave, and then I want you to pop the biggest, loudest firework you have right on the person who called the police on you's porch. And then I want you to get in your car and run away or drive away until the police have to go and get you.
Go get God. Damn.
Go getting. Yeah.
Over half of the things that you suggest at the end of an episode are crimes. So I do just want to call that out.
Are you suggesting something? What are you suggesting?
I'm straight up saying that you're encouraging criminal activity in our audience.
I am not encouraging criminal activity in our audience. I love our audience. They are good mihos and mihas. And me-theys. But, I mean, it's always fun to imagine things, right? I would never say to go and do these things. I would never encourage you to do anything unaligned with the law. This is a Christian Minecraft server.
Bye.
Later.